Hi, I'm Jonathan, the newest addition to the Poe-Cast, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about The Force Unleashed. Now, the first game in the Force Unleashed series was The Force Unleashed 1, and it was set in between episodes 2 and 3 of Star Wars, and was about Darth Vader finding a young boy who was Force sensitive on the planet of Kashyyyk while he was quelling a Wookiee rebellion. Now, Darth Vader decided to raise the boy as an apprentice, and throughout the game you do different tasks for Darth Vader, whether that is hunting down Jedi or potential rebels, and then halfway through the game you start collecting together all of the rebels to form the Rebel Alliance, which I will say, this is still under Darth Vader's command. He actually wants to bring them all together so that he can kill them all, but that's kind of a spoiler. At the beginning of the game, Starkiller gets a new pilot, Juno Eclipse, who makes some modifications to his ship without his permission, which causes some hard feelings between them. But by the end of the game, they are lovers, and their connection is very, very deep, and I think that was a good addition to the game. And I believe that drove the storyline quite a bit, and especially the storyline of the second game, which I will get to in just a moment. But by the end of the game, Starkiller is learning about being a Jedi from a Jedi that he picks up at a bar that is in the far outer rim of the galaxy. And he learns a little bit about, like, being a Jedi and the light side of the Force. And at the end of the game, you get to choose whether you join the light side or whether you can choose the dark side ending and kill Darth. Well, no, I shouldn't say anything. You will just have to play the game yourself, or you can pick up the graphic novel here. It's pretty nice. I mean, the artwork is good. It's well written, very well written. It doesn't take too long to read. I will go ahead and let the dog in. Hi, George. Do you want to come in? This is George. He's our mascot. Aren't you, Georgie? Yes. Oh, hi. Yeah. There you go. But you can also pick up the novelization of the game. I have actually never read this, but I really enjoyed the game, and I also really enjoyed the graphic novel. I thought it was very good, so I would just say that that was a very good game in general. The storyline was good. It was an amazing game, a great addition to the Star Wars universe, but you have to go into it thinking about it as sort of a Norse epic of the Star Wars universe, because Starkiller does things that other Jedi never did with the Force. Like, at one point, there is a Star Destroyer heading towards Juno and General Ram Kota, the Jedi that Starkiller picks up in the middle of the game, and he pulls the Star Destroyer out of atmosphere to crash into the planet before it hits the landing site of his starship. And that was a really great part of the story, but as I said, no Jedi in the movies ever did that. So now on to The Force Unleashed 2. This was also a really great game. I thought that it built off of the character of Starkiller and the character of Juno Eclipse very well. It was good for a sequel, I think, although it was very short, there were only 5 levels. It takes about maybe 5 or 6 hours to play through, so it is very short, but the storyline is also very good. At this point, the Rebel Alliance has joined together and they're fighting against the Empire. You start on Kamino in an isolation chamber, and at the beginning of the game, Darth Vader brings you out of the isolation chamber and makes you kill these droids that look like Rebel guards, and then one of them looks like Juno Eclipse, the love interest from the last game, and Darth Vader commands you to kill her, but Starkiller cannot make himself kill this droid that is impersonating Juno Eclipse. So, Darth Vader says that he is going to kill Starkiller, and at this point he says that Starkiller is a clone, and that all of the other clones were faulty, and that this one must be faulty too. But this clone of Starkiller shocks Darth Vader with Force Lightning and breaks out of the training chambers, and then escapes Kamino, and he goes out in search of General Rom Kota and Juno Eclipse, and eventually joins the Rebels in fighting against the Empire. I thought that this game had a very dramatic ending. It was a really great climax. Just the ending battle was amazing, and it really set up for a third game, but I don't think at this point we are going to get a third game, unfortunately, because Disney took over Lucasfilm. The EU was totally scrapped for now. But I think the EU does have some hope, since Disney is going to do the Marvel comic book series with Star Wars. Do you want to be in the podcast again, George? There you go. You can be in the video. Okay. But again, this game was also very much of an overblown, totally over-the-top, epic Force style in which you can pull starships out of the sky and tear cities apart. It's really amazing playing as Starkiller, because he's just such a powerful character, but he's also so human. They just did such a good job at making him a really identifiable character. And as I said earlier, you can pick up the graphic novels or the novelizations either on Amazon or maybe even at your local bookstore. The graphic novel of The Force Unleashed 2 was a little bit different than the game, because it tells the story from the perspective of someone besides Starkiller, which I really enjoyed, because that meant that when I read the graphic novel and I played the game, each of them were totally fresh. They overlapped, definitely, but it was just a new experience for each time I experienced The Force Unleashed 2. I think that is about it. I really hope that A Force Unleashed 3 is made, but I don't know if it is going to happen. But may the Force be with you, always.